Chelsea goal of the season. Tottenham 0, Chelsea 3.
I think it was a good game, competitive. We were on the front foot. We started pressing high, creating enormous problems. We had chances, and we sustained that through the first half. In the second half, a set piece changes the game, of course, and then becomes much harder. The game totally changed, and Chelsea took control, and it was a better team on the second half.
What part did N'Golo Kante play, do you think, in changing the game?
Huge part. N'Golo is unique. It's one of a kind, and then to have him on the pitch makes such a huge difference to everything. And it was about to improve our style of play, from energy, from ball wins, from closing down spaces, from a higher intensity, and that's why we brought on N'Golo, because he embodies all of that, and of course he played a big role in that, but the whole team played much better, and we deserved to win from there.
It was very close in the first half, but your team were very dominant in the second period.
Yeah, I think it was a very good half from Tottenham. They put a lot of intensity. It was difficult for us, but we reacted very well in the second half, and we are happy with the 3 goals and with the result.
Well, Tuchel said he changed the intensity and tempo, did Kante, but there was more to it than that for you.
Well, he brought an energy to that Chelsea team that was missing in the first half, and well done to Tuchel for spotting that at half-time and changing it, because they were just OK and they weren't quite at it in the first half. But the second half, it was men against boys. It should have been 6 or 7. What he did was he enabled those two players to do that. Azpilicueta and Alonso much further higher up the park, and Tottenham really couldn't cope with the energy that he brought into the team. He gave them a little bit of protection. That one pass there, it wasn't all about him sitting in front of that back four. He offered something going forward because he got the goal as well. But there's those two players again. It's Alonso or Azpilicueta coming at the far post. I said he offered things going forward. He offered protection as well. There's Alonso getting into the. I mean, those two I thought were superb. There were so many impressive performances from the Chelsea team today, but this was the main difference, is that he's there just in case they lose that ball. They press. They could press a lot higher because of what he gave them. Also, that allowed him to get into that position. All right, the deflection. Did his bit defensively as well. Sets his team away. That guy again, Alonso. He's straight up the park. They're on the attack again. As I said, it should have been 6 or 7, and Tottenham just really couldn't cope with them. And that guy changed it at half-time, and it worked perfectly. And
so they had Alonso and Azpilicueta fly, and they had Kante adding to the shield with Jorginho and Kovacic, and then further back they had a rock.
Thiago, for me, was just outstanding. He's 37 next week, by the way. You know, what he does, he makes good decisions. He makes decisions look very easy. And he's in good shape, you know. He's holding the line, can't play offside, get myself into a defending area. Let me get to the near post because my partner's in the centre of the goals. I'll do that job. Shall I go for it? Shall I not? Yes, I'm going to commit myself. And he goes for it in exactly the same position. Shall I go for it? No, I'll just wait. I'll bide my time and I'll win the ball back instead of committing.
Experience.
It's experience and knowing exactly when to get forward in the box and get a goal for your team. He's just one of those players that leads. He knows when to go to ground. You very rarely see him go to ground for no reason. Again, nearly getting on the score sheet twice. And this happened all game. And he picks the ball up. He wants to go forward. He's looking for a pass. Nothing's on. He's brave enough to break the lines himself and try and get his team up the pitch. He did this all game. They look to him, Chappers, to start things as well.
Fully acclimatised to the Premier League.
Oh.
Yeah, without a doubt. And what it is, it might have taken him two or three games. But what you'll see now, the players around him know they can trust him. He's a leader. He's a winner. Brilliant, brilliant.
Was his life made easier by Harry Kane's performance?
Absolutely, and Christensen's was, and Rudiger's was, because too many times that Harry Kane was quite content to sit in the midfield and try and direct things from the midfield. We know he's good at that. We know he can do that. But at times it's not helping him, and it's certainly not helping his team. He's pressed here, and eventually, I mean, Tottenham do very well to get out here. They play it very well, but just look what happens. where the ball eventually ends up and where Harry Kane is. And he's 35 yards from goal when this ball goes into the box. They need him in the box, and they need him higher up the pitch, and he needs to do that as well. I've no doubt the goals will come again. He's an outstanding goal scorer. But when the defenders are doing that, they've hardly got anyone to mark. They are very content and very happy when Harry is doing that, because he's the best in the business at scoring goals, and he's not going to get too many when he's doing this. Look at Thiago Silva and Rudiger. They're happy all day when they can see him, when he's in front of them. And as I said, he can play passes. He's very, very good at doing that. Same thing again here. He's out wide on this occasion. Two centre-halves this time, Christensen and Silva. They've got no one to mark. The threat of Harry Kane in and around the 18-yard box was not there at all today. And he's got to try and get that balance right. Have a look at the touch map between him and Lukaku. In that danger area, Harry Kane touched the ball 5 times. Lukaku 17 times. And he didn't even have his best game today, Lukaku. So, as I said, that balance at the minute is certainly not there with Harry Kane. And he's got to get that right, because it not only affects him, it's affecting his team as well.
And you know what? There's another 10 players on that pitch as well. Why don't they say, Harry, get yourself up front? They won't say that.
Well, there's also a coach on the touchline as well. You'd be surprised if that was Nuno's instructions to him, wouldn't you? On the basis of Alan's analysis.
Yeah, but when you're playing the game, when you're in the moment, and you're a defender, and you're trying to pick a pass to one of your midfield players, you don't want the best striker in the world there on your toes. If you're brave enough, get out of the way.
I looked at that Tottenham team last week, and I looked at it today. They lack width. They lack creativity in the midfield, and Harry is trying to do all of that. We saw him on the right wing at times. We saw him far too many times in the midfield today, trying to spray those passes. He can do that, but not as often as he did try to do it last week, and certainly today.
Right then.